In 2003, a Romanian researcher touched an iron bar that had been warm for 600 years. He felt it pulse. Not like metal. Like skin. Rhythmic. Steady. The way a heart beats when something is still alive. He stood there for 11 seconds, counting the pulses, feeling them travel up his arm into his chest, syncing with his own heartbeat until he couldn't tell which rhythm was his. Then he pulled back, left the monastery, drove to Bucharest without stopping, quit his position the next day, started teaching elementary school in a town where nobody knew what he'd been studying. 3 years later, after too much wine, someone asked why. Children don't ask about doors. The table went quiet. Then he said something else. The iron smelled like it just came off the forge. Clean. Cold. The way metal smells when it's never been touched. But it was warm when I touched it. Body temperature. Like it had been holding heat for centuries. That smell shows up twice more. Different countries. Different centuries. Different witnesses who never met, never spoke, never compared notes. Same iron. Same smell. Same choice to walk away. There's a forest in southwestern Germany the Romans wouldn't touch. They built roads through mountains, swamps, deserts. Roman engineering didn't back down. But they looked at this forest and went around. They called it Silva Nigra, the Black Forest. Not because of the trees. Because light stopped working 200 meters in. Scouts entered at noon, full sun, clear sky, and hit total darkness before they could turn around. Not shade. Not shadow. Darkness that pushed back against torches. Rome built a road along the forest edge and never went deeper. Deep inside, near the town of Schiltak, there's a path. Locals call it Totenpfad, the dead man's path. Not because people die there. Because of what happens to them while they're still alive. Every time someone measures it, they get a different number. 1847, 3.2 kilometers. 1903, 2.7 kilometers. 1954, 3.9 kilometers. 1978, 2.4 kilometers. Same path. Same start point. Same end point. In 1978, the German Federal Office for Cartography sent a team. They measured it at 2.4 kilometers. In the official report, someone wrote in the margin in pen, "Do not resurvey. Close file." A government agency told itself to never measure this path again. January 1693. A woodcutter named Albrecht Gerst walked the path like he had for 11 years. Every morning. 10-minute walk. Straight through. He knew every route, every turn, every stump. His dog Fuchs walked beside him. A hunting hound. Loyal. Come. That morning, Gerst entered the forest at dawn. He didn't come out the other side. A search party found him 3 days later. Sitting on a stump at the far end of the path. Alive. Eyes open. Staring at nothing. No axe, no coat, and no dog. Fuchs was never seen again. When they brought Gerst back to town, he wasn't injured. Wasn't sick. He could walk, talk, eat. But something was off. The magistrate interviewed him. Wrote a full report. Described Gerst as calm. Lucid. And then used a word that doesn't translate cleanly. Leer. Empty. Like a house after everyone moves out. Structure intact. But whatever made it alive is gone. Gerst said the walk took 10 minutes. Just like always. He remembered entering. Remembered leaving. 3 days just stopped existing for him. 4 months later, his wife Katerina noticed something. Her husband didn't cast a shadow anymore. At first, she thought it was the angle of the sun. But it kept happening. Morning. Noon. Evening. He would stand in the doorway, full sunlight hitting him, and the light would pass through to the floor like he was made of glass. But he wasn't transparent. He was solid. Warm. He breathed. He ate the bread she baked. But the light didn't see him. She wrote to her sister. The letter is still in a church archive in Schiltak. Asterisk, he stands in the doorway. The sun hits him. It passes through to the floor like he's made of glass. But he's warm. He breathes. He eats the bread I bake. But the light doesn't see him. Asterisk. 4 months after that, Albrecht Gerst died. Cause of death. Wasting. Not his body. He just faded. Became lighter. Quieter. Less there. Until one morning he didn't wake up. The priest wrote, asterisk, God took him gently. Asterisk. But Katerina knew better. 1887. A Bavarian naturalist named Heinrich Voss came to study the path. He didn't believe the stories. He was a man of science. Cataloging species. Recording temperatures. He camped at the path's entrance for 3 nights. First 2 nights, normal. Crickets. Owls. Foxes moving through the brush. Third night. 11:40 p.m. Footsteps started circling his tent. Slow, steady, same rhythm. Voss lay in his bedroll, awake, listening. He didn't call out. Later, in his journal, he wrote in the margin, I don't know why I didn't call out. I'm not a coward. I've faced wolves, storms, thieves. But my voice wasn't available to me. Not stolen. Just not something I could use. Like trying to move a limb that's fallen asleep, but it was my will that had gone numb. The footsteps circled. He counted. 44 times. Then stopped. At dawn, he opened the tent. The grass around him was pressed flat in a perfect circle. 2 meters across. No footprints. Just the sound of footsteps. Without feet. 2 minutes before the footsteps started, every crow in the trees went silent. Crows are loud. When they're startled, they scream. They scatter. These didn't. They just stopped. All of them. Same instant. 2 minutes of total silence. No wind. No insects. No rustling. Then the footsteps. Voss packed at first light. Went back to Munich. Never spoke about it again. His journal was found after he died in 1921. The librarian who catalogued it added her own note on the inside cover. I've handled hundreds of personal journals. They all feel like the past. This one feels like it's still happening. The Mazovian plains are flat. Endless. You can see a person from 3 kilometers away. In winter, the sky and ground merge into one gray nothing. There's nothing between you and the horizon. Except the gray man. 1431. A farmer named Jakub reported a figure in his field at dusk. Man shape. Gray. Not wearing gray. Gray. Like ash shaped into a person. No face. Just smooth where features should be. And Jakub was certain, absolutely certain, that it was looking at him. It was 200 meters away. He went inside. Told his wife. She looked out the window. Saw it. They locked the door. Next evening, Jakub looked out at dusk. It was closer. Not by much. Maybe 20 meters. But closer. Third evening, closer still. Every night at dusk. Every night, closer. Never rushing. Never stopping. By the 5th night, his wife could see it from the kitchen window. By the 7th night, he could see texture. The surface wasn't solid. Moved. Not like skin. Not like cloth. Like static. Like the air above a fire. But cold. He said it looked like the air above a fire, but cold. 9th night. It was at his fence. His wife looked through the window. She screamed. Not because of what it looked like. Because she understood. Something could stand at your fence in the dark and look at you without eyes. They nailed the shutters shut. Every window. Didn't open them till spring. Dozens of reports. 5 centuries. Same pattern. Night 1, distant figure. Night 3, halfway across the field. Night 5, near the house. Night 7, texture visible. Night 9, at the fence. Night 10, nobody's reported what happens on night 10. Because the people who see night 10 don't report anything. 1899. A researcher named Anna Dabrowska came from Warsaw. Folklorist. Rationalist. She debunked a dozen rural myths. She planned 2 weeks in the village. Stayed 9 days. On the 9th day she left. No explanation. No interview. She went back to Warsaw and destroyed 3 years of research. Burned it. Every note. Every photograph. Every map. Her diary survived. 1 entry. 1 sentence. It knew I was looking. Present tense. Not new. Knows. 3 separate accounts, 1544, 1781, 1899, mention the same detail. On the 9th night, after the shutters were nailed shut, after the house was sealed, they smelled iron. Clean cold iron. Like a fresh blade. Inside a sealed room. No source. No metal nearby. Just the smell of something sharp. Something waiting. Carpathian Mountains. 1412. A monastery. A sealed chamber. Iron bars driven through the stone door frame. Oak door. Black oak. 3 inches thick. No handle on the outside. No lock. Because it's not meant to be opened. The door has been sealed for 612 years. Historians have asked for permission to study it. The monks say no. Not rudely. Not with anger. With a calm that's worse than threats. They don't say we won't let you. They say we can't let you. Like they're bound to something older than their order. In 1412, a bishop's delegation came to investigate. The Vatican had heard rumors. Something in the mountains. Something sealed away. They sent 3 bishops, 2 priests, a scribe. They traveled for 11 days. The monks led them down. Stone corridor. Sloping downward. Cold. Damp. The air tasted like copper. At the end, the door. The scribe wrote everything. His report survives in the Vatican secret archives. It's one sentence. The door should remain sealed. We recommend no further inquiry. That's it. No explanation. No theology. No justification. 15th century bishops didn't walk away from mysteries. Their job was confronting darkness, naming demons, driving out evil. But this delegation looked at a door and said, no, leave it, because something can be heard. Witnesses across 6 centuries report the same sound. Rhythmic, full, steady. A pendulum, swinging. There's no clock inside. The monastery never had one. Just a weight, swinging. The sound's been heard in 1412, 1567, 1743, 1889, 1954, 2003. Pendulums don't swing for 600 years. Energy dies. Friction stops everything. Unless something keeps pushing it. The monks call themselves possessed. Those who guard. And when you press them, when you ask what they're guarding, they say something worse. They're not keeping something in. They're keeping us out. 2003. The researcher's name is never given. He had clearance. Academic references. A grant from the Ministry of Culture. The monks let him into the monastery. Let him see the archives. Let him walk the corridor. But they made one thing clear. Do not touch the door. He agreed. He stood in the corridor for 20 minutes. Listening. The pendulum sound wasn't loud. It was deep. Below hearing. He felt it in his chest. Slow. Rhythmic. But too slow for a human heart. Too steady. He stepped closer. The monk stayed at the top of the corridor. Watching. He could feel the sound in his sternum now. Spreading through his ribs. Sinking with his pulse. He put his hand on the iron bars. Warm. Body temperature. Like touching skin. Vibration. A pulse. Slow. Rhythmic. The same frequency as the pendulum. 600 years of swinging had tuned the iron like a tuning fork. The bars weren't just sealing the door anymore. They were conducting. Spreading whatever was inside into the stone. Into the walls. Into the mountain. He stood there for 11 seconds. Counting the pulses. Feeling them move up his arm. Into his shoulder. Into his chest. His heartbeat slowed. Synced. For 11 seconds, his heart beat in rhythm with whatever was behind the door. Then he pulled back. The monks didn't say anything. They just let him back up. He left that day. Drove to Bucharest. Quit his position. Never went back. 3 years later, someone asked why. He said, children don't ask about doors. Then, the iron smelled like it just came off the forge. Clean. Cold. The way metal smells when it's never been touched. But it was warm. Later, alone, he told one person something else. I could feel it waiting. Not hostile. Not evil. Just patient. Like it had been there so long that time didn't mean anything anymore. And I understood. If I opened that door, I wouldn't be letting something out. I'd be letting myself in. And I'd never leave. 1890 census. The village of Skarsvåg, northern Norway, had 43 people. Fishing village. Remote. End of the peninsula. Surrounded by the Barents Sea. 1891. It vanished. Not physically. The buildings were still there. The boats were still there. The people were still there. But every record disappeared. Census logs. No entry. Mail routes skipped it. Maps, the coastline was smooth. No village marked. For 11 years, 43 people fell out of the world. And nobody noticed. 1902. A census taker named Lars Henriksen was assigned the northern coast. He followed the route. Checked every village. And found one that wasn't on his list. Skarsvåg. Right where it should be. He checked his records. No entry. He checked the previous census. No entry. He asked the villagers. They looked at him confused. Asterisk, we've been here the whole time. Asterisk. And they had. They had memories. Births, deaths, marriages, storms. They'd lived 11 years. The world just stopped looking. Henriksen stayed 3 days. Interviewed families. Checked records. Took notes. They weren't lying. They weren't confused. They'd been there. But the world had forgotten them. He wrote to his wife. Asterisk, the place feels new. Like someone just finished painting the scenery and told the actors where to stand. Everything's in the right place. But it feels like a stage set. Like it was built yesterday to look old. Asterisk, but that wasn't what made him leave. Asterisk, the children here don't look at the sea. Asterisk, fishing village, surrounded by water. The sea is everything. Food, work, weather, life. But the children born during those 11 years, while the village was gone, wouldn't look at it. Henriksen tested it. He turned a girl toward the harbor. She closed her eyes. Come. No panic. No crying. Just closed her eyes and waited. When he let go, she turned inland and kept playing. He tried 3 other children. Same response. And the dogs, 7 of them, sitting in a line at the edge of the village, facing inland, toward the plateau. 60 kilometers of nothing. Just sitting. The way dogs sit when they're waiting for someone to come home. Except no one was coming. Henriksen wrote, the dogs watch the land like sailors watch the sea before a storm. I don't think it's arrived yet. One child, a boy maybe 7, finally looked at the water. Not by choice. He tripped while running. Fell forward. His eyes caught the harbor for maybe 2 seconds. He started screaming. Not crying. Screaming. Henriksen described it as the kind of noise a person makes when they see something the human brain wasn't built to process. 3 hours of screaming. No one could calm him. Then silence. He didn't speak for 2 days. When he finally did, someone asked what he saw. He said, the water was looking back. Then he closed his eyes, turned inland, never looked at the sea again. For 11 years, that village existed outside the world. And when it came back, something had changed in whatever was born there while nobody was watching. Voss, 1887. Germany. Heard footsteps circling his tent. Didn't call out. Left at dawn. Never spoke about it again. Dabrowska, 1899. Poland. Saw the gray man destroyed 3 years of research. Left on the 9th day. Wrote 1 sentence, it knew I was looking. The researcher, 2003. Romania. Heard the pendulum. Touched the iron bars. Felt them pulse. Quit the next day. Said, children don't ask about doors. Germany. Crows went silent 2 minutes before the footsteps. Every bird. Same instant. Like they knew something was coming and the only option was silence. Norway. Dogs sat facing inland. Waiting. Not for their owners. Not for food. For something they could sense that humans couldn't. Poland. Smell of iron inside a sealed room. Clean. Cold. No source. Romania. Iron bars. Warm. Vibrating. Conducting whatever was behind the door into the stone. Into the walls. Into the mountain. Iron in the last 3. Silence and animals in the first 2. Different countries. Different centuries. But the same thing. Openings. Weak spots. Places where the rules we depend on, time, light, memory, presence, stop working. The door hasn't opened since 1412. The pendulum hasn't stopped. The iron is still warm. The monks still guard. Not a prisoner. Some things aren't hidden because they're fake. They're hidden because they're true. And the people who got close enough to see made a choice. They walked away. Not out of cowardice. Out of understanding. Which one feels wrong to you? Not scary. Wrong. The one that'll sit in your head tonight when the lights go out and the room gets quiet and you think about all the space behind you that you can't see. If you're in one of these countries, drop the name in the comments. Just the name. Tonight, don't listen for the pendulum. Don't watch the field at dusk. Don't measure the path. Don't look at the sea. And whatever you do, don't touch the iron. Because it remembers, and it's still warm.